Welcome to Chok Muay Chats episode 10. I'm Joe Comerford from Joe Comerford Muay Thai. Funny that, because that's my name. I'm here with professional fighter, referee, and also, I would say, female ambassador of the sport, Nong Bee. Welcome.
Hi, good to be here.
Thank you for being on episode 10. If you like this episode, you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, and yeah, that's it. That's where you can find it. Okay, so YouTube, Chok Muay Chats. So, B, welcome. Sorry about the heat in my condo. The what do you call it? The air conditioner's not working, but that's all right. We'll get through it. The first thing I wanted to ask you was, how's your preparation going for the Infliction 4-Woman Series?
Yeah, it's been really good. So I've been over here in Thailand training at a couple of different gyms whilst I've been here, picking up a few different tips and tricks and just refining my craft, actually having a lot of fun training. So it's not always a stressful time. So it's good to actually enjoy training and not be super stressed yet. But yeah, it's been really fun. Can't fault it.
And what are some of the gyms that you've trained at here?
So I've been at Soja Japan whilst I've been here. Did a bit of time at PK Sanchai, and most recently up in Chiang Mai, Sit Thailand Muay Thai gym, which have all been really good.
And talking about those three different gyms, how are they different? Like difference in style, different in training partners?
Yeah, absolutely. So different, I think they all have different styles. They're both Bangkok gyms, a bit more aggressive style, I would say, but training is very similar. I think that whilst I was at Soja Japan, really good in that, refined a bit of technique with a lot of the trainers there, got in some clinch time with the boys as well. But whilst I was at PK, really one of those kind of gyms where you got to push yourself, prove yourself, and yeah, like it really did push me. I made some good friends connections at the gym, so that it's been a real nice learning experience. But yeah, and then up at Thailand, it's been really good working really closely with Thailand Pinsin Chai. So he's been refining my technique a lot, and getting that one-on-one time with him has really pushed my game forward, I reckon.
Yeah, he's quite big on technical instruction up there.
Yeah, it's been really good. So, and I was lucky enough to get like time with him every single day, consistently. So, was able to really work on it every day.
So, going into this 4-woman, now it's gonna be a little bit tricky because you're pretty close with Dory Duncan.
Yeah.
And she's on the bill as well.
Yeah, it's so funny because Dory and I have actually been wanting to fight each other for ages. When Dory first turned pro was when I had my ACL recon, so we kind of like missed each other in the early stages as well. And now she's had a couple more fights and she's gone down weight, and now I've kind of like found my stride and had my like fair share of fights now. So it's been a long time in the making. I think quite a few people have actually wanted us to fight. So really hoping that we draw each other or we see each other in the final. So I'm super keen to fight her. But I think even though we're good mates, fighters fight. So we'll still get it done.
Now, you work closely with Dory on the female scene in New South Wales. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you guys have been doing together to promote female Muay Thai in New South Wales?
Yeah, so Dory and I and a couple of other girls as well have been working together to really build up the grassroots scene for females in New South Wales. We realised that a lot of these girls are really scared to jump into the amateur scene or into their first few fights. They are just probably not getting the exposure that they need to with other females in the sport. Some of these girls are they're the only girl in their gym, or maybe one other girl in their gym. So it's kind of a nice place for all the girls to come together and just like have fun with a bunch of other girls. And like the way that we kind of are working with it is that we're really advertising it as this kind of fun environment community that the girls have, like, it's zero pressure, so it's and no barriers to entry, so any of the girls can come in if they're pros, they're beginners, and just have fun on the day. Really, we just want to build a bit more of a female presence in New South Wales, and I think bringing the community together to do that is the best way.
And just moving into that, the sort of the spectrum of talking about female Muay Thai. We were talking about before at dinner about the opportunities that are arising for females at the moment, with, post-COVID, the big stadiums here in Bangkok changing their attitude towards female athletes and actually allowing them finally to compete on the Bangkok stage. How do you feel about female opportunities in Australia? Has that grown over this period as well due to things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in Australia it's a bit different to Thailand. I think in Australia they've kind of always pushed female Muay Thai, maybe not as much as they are now, but it's absolutely grown in the last couple of years, where it's really awesome to see, like, shows like Roots or Rebellion, like half the card's female. So whereas back in the day you'd see maybe one female fight, two female fights if you're lucky. But it's really awesome to see now that, half the card's female. I mean, there's also a couple of shows in Australia that are just fully female as well. And I reckon you could fill a card just purely on female fights.
Yeah, there has been a few cards in Australia that have actually done that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nakia right up in Queensland's doing that on Muay Thai League, yeah. All
right, very cool, very cool. I mean, even the fact that Infliction have got a forewoman with 10,000 Australian dollars, like, before COVID, that was nearly unheard of.
Not a thing. It's super exciting. Like these opportunities don't come often, I don't think, but it's awesome to see that shows are starting to put these things on. So it really opens the doors for us girls. Yeah.
Now, you've only had a handful of professional fights. You had quite a developed amateur career. I mean, we both come from the same gym in Australia and that sort of thing. That's our connection.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you was, back when I was fighting, we didn't really have much emphasis on strength and conditioning. Probably towards the tail end of my career, it was starting to become a thing. How important do you think strength and conditioning is in an athlete's training program?
Oh, look, I reckon strength and conditioning just takes it to the next level. Without strength or power, like, you're not going to do that much damage in the ring, to be honest, particularly for females. I think that just having strength in there it's supplementing everything else that you're already doing. So what's the harm in doing a little bit extra? Plus, you get some pretty sick guns, so...
Yeah, 100%, like... You see the level of athletes is, really really rising in technical ability, but also, like, just girls and guys are so much stronger than they were about 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, and for me, I started strength kind of towards the tail end of my amateur career, and then going, like, I've been doing strength for my whole professional career, and I can see the physiological changes in my body, but also the power outage is completely different, and the way that I'm able to move is a lot different, I feel. So yeah, I think it's really important.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're an athlete trying to decide whether you think, strength and conditioning is worth it, by the sounds of it, it probably is. It's probably worth your time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, moving on to your refereeing. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, you've been a referee for a while and you've trained referees, correct?
Yes.
Do you think being a referee is worthwhile for Muay Thai athletes to help them understand the game more?
Yes and no. I think that, to be honest, I actually think that some people can be both a referee and a fighter, but I don't think that everyone can be a referee and a fighter, because they're two, you kind of like on opposite ends of the spectrum. Like one, you're on the outside of the fight really, whereas on the other side, you're in the fight, you're the fighter. But being the referee, like you control the fight, so it's very different. You kind of have to step out into a different mentality from being a fighter and being a referee. Does it help in terms of my fight game? I think judging actually helps in terms of my fight game more than being a referee. Yeah, I think that they're two different things, but I reckon only some people can do both at the same time.
Do you think it's a worthwhile pathway for people once they're finished their careers of giving back to the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're never short on referees, so there's always opportunities there, and it's a good way to stay connected to the community, and it's a good way to really give back your time and help grow the sport as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at guys like Elias, you know, he's one of the main referees on one championship, and, you know, he's done a lot of time just reffing small time shows in Australia, and there's a lot of opportunities growing for referees around Australia. So, you know, it should be something that people should consider about once maybe, you know, they're finished fighting, to stay connected, or even if, like, you're not interested in fighting, it's a good way to still keep involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a couple of the referees at the moment that are coming up haven't fought or have never fought, but they're starting their refereeing or officiating journey, and they're picking it up really easily. So I think that it's definitely a pathway that you can take, even if you don't fight, but it's something just to stay connected to the community, and it's really nice to give back.
Now, moving on to just, you know, mentioning pathways, my brain's sort of ticking here about pathways, because one of the things you're passionate about is grassroots Muay Thai and developing pathways. What's this female pathway show that you've been developing?
Yeah, so initially it was kind of just an idea that we wanted girls to just come together and just have a bit of fun, inspire each other. That was it. Then it kind of evolved into, well, let's have a couple like matchups. Like, let's get them to actually go a little bit harder, do 3 rounds. There's a referee there controlling the ring as well, and there's some judges that are just kind of filling in some cards to give feedback to the girls as well. So that's kind of what we thought would be a nice gap to bridge what seemed like a huge jump from not fighting at all and just training to jumping into like a development day. So with these girls, they're all coming to these the sparring days. It's open sparring, it's a controlled environment, we've got heaps of supervision there, so we're really trying to mitigate any injuries. And then those that want to, they can opt to have like this pre-match bout, and it's a good way for them. It's just bridging that gap that seems to be quite large for girls in particular before they jump into having their first kind of amateur fight. Yeah. Now,
still going along with that theme about, you know, female Muay Thai, traditionally combat sports has, you know, been a pretty male-centered sport. Why do you think Muay Thai is important for females? Why do you think they should do it and get involved?
For me, it's one of the biggest confidence builders that I've had in my life, and I think Andy, our coach, would attest to this. When I first walked into the gym, I was this timid, shy girl that barely spoke. Now I'm probably one of the loudest voices in the room, but it actually made me more confident. It made me into the career woman I am today, and it just gave me that confidence that I really needed. But it also gave me discipline to stick to something, actually get fit and look after my health, and it's a great way to learn self-defense as well. So it's kind of one of those sports that's really all-encompassing, and it'll just change. I think it changes your entire life in some way.
Yeah, I mean, not only just for females, but guys as well. You know, it's one of those things that we were talking about before. Is, you know, to do Muay Thai, you have to kind of not be a special breed, but you have to be a little bit mad to do it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, we're all a bit mad in our
Absolutely.
own way, but you know, it's definitely a special community. Everybody coming together and sharing their love for such a not just a sport, but something that's so rich in tradition.
Yeah.
Do you feel that Muay Thai has helped you get in touch with your Thai roots? Because, you know, you were saying that your family's Thai, you can speak Thai, you can read Thai, but, you know, you come in here with a pretty Yoka accent, not gonna lie. You know, Nong Bee. Has that helped you get in touch with your culture and stuff?
Totally. It's probably opened my eyes to a lot more things that I wouldn't have been open to if I didn't do Muay Thai. I'd probably be a little bit ignorant or maybe sheltered, but it's definitely helped me get in touch with my Thai side, and it makes me want to find out more. Like, I feel like I know quite a few things, but there are things that I don't know, and it's kind of helped me to realize that, oh yeah, I want to learn a little bit more about this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's been really nice to get really in touch with my Thai side.
Yeah, no, it's
even
cool.
though it's my only side.
It's always cool to hear that, because there's always, you know, there's a lot of what we call luk krung, or even kids who are Thai but they were brought up overseas and they don't really know much about their own culture, and they actually end up finding more about themselves through the sport of Muay Thai. You know, it is Thailand's national sport, and probably in the next 2-3 years is going to be a global sport. So, you know, it's a cool way to share a country's culture with people. So, no, I appreciate that. What we might do is we might wrap it up, because it is getting really hot and I'm sweating my here. So, all I can say is thank you for your time, and thank you for being on episode 10. I know it's only short, but I can see that you're suffering under the LED lights.
That's all right.
So if you could please like, share, subscribe this episode 10 with Nong Bee, referee, professional fighter, and female ambassador of the sport, and just all round good bloke like PTJ Muay Thai.
Represent.